This morning's lesson is taken from Romans, the first chapter, verses 19 and 20. Since what may be known about God is plain to them, because God has made it plain to them. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power, and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that men are without excuse. This is the word of God for the people of God. And the people said,
Thanks be to God.
You may be seated. Today, as we begin Signpost 2 in our GodQuest, we really begin where we left off last week. If truth, with a capital T, is about keeping us aligned with reality, with a capital R, then we need to know where we come from, where everything came from. Now, some people may not think this matters, that all that matters is where we are. But if we don't know how we got where we are, we will be missing a key component in understanding who God is and who we are and what life is all about. So again, on this GodQuest, we come to a fork in the road, and it offers two basic paths of how we will see our lives. Either we will see our lives as from God or not from God, which leaves probably the alternative that we are the product of some sort of cosmic accident. Now, the Bible opens with these words from Genesis 1, verse 1, hopefully familiar to us. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, this verse in itself points out that creation had a beginning, and that God was already there and was its cause. Without him, nothing was made that has been made. Or as it puts it in Hebrews 11, verse 3, by faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. In other words, what is unseen was not only first, but is the foundation for what is seen. We receive this by faith, obviously, because we were not there. But as today's text from Romans indicates, there is plenty of evidence in creation itself to point to the design of its maker. Now, in just a moment, I would like to show you a short portion of a DVD entitled The Elegant Universe. I believe it's especially significant that this is not a religious video, but this comes from the PBS science program NOVA. You will see first a reference to the precision balancing of the universe's primary forces, and then a reference to string theory, the most current theory of physics, which says that the most fundamental component of matter is not matter at all, but vibrating strings of energy 100 billion times smaller than an atom, and shaped by the unseen but recently discovered dimensions of creation. Let's take a look. Is it not going? And there it isn't. In the first part of the video, well, that's just, I hit the wrong thing that turned the whole thing off. So. In the first part of the video, the scientist is explaining of how, and these are the 20 basic elements of the forces in the universe, and how if they are not tuned exactly with each other and rightly with each other, that the universe would not exist. He gave an example of, he said that if the force of electromagnetism was slightly greater or slightly less, that the particles within the nucleus would repel each other and suns would burn down and there would be no suns. The suns would not form. There are, in that video, he said 20 of the things related to energy, but in the overall of the universe, there is more than 90 components that have to be balanced out perfectly. In the second part, which I need to explain a little more, is that string theory is saying that this most fundamental thing of the vibrating energy, are we at least coming up with the rest of the stuff? I hope. Mathematicians have been able to discover that there are at least 6, possibly 7 other dimensions in the created universe that they can detect mathematically, but that cannot be detected by other means. However, string theory says that it's those very dimensions that are shaping the vibrating strings of energy and give matter its substance, give it mass, and give it charge. And do we have anything yet? Do we have scriptures yet? Okay. Well, we may not get anything here. I don't know. Okay. The shaping of energy by unseen dimensions, I cannot help but think of the passage in Colossians 1:17, which says, "He, that is Christ, is before all things, and in him all things hold together." Because the string theory is saying not just that these things came into existence, but they are literally being held together by these unseen dimensions. Now, what I want you to remember most at this point are 2 important words: fine-tuning. Whether it's at the smallest level or in the expansion rate of the farthest reaches of the universe, science is uncovering more and more finely tuned characteristics necessary for life. And the thing about them, most recent results have over 90. It's not just that one of them have to be finely tuned, but that they all must be finely tuned. So you start getting into probabilities that have so many zeros in it, we can't even write it in the universe. So unlikely for those things to happen. And all of these things have to be just so within less than 1%, plus or minus, either direction. Now the same holds true for biology. Life shows the same marks of design, the same evidence for a creator. So the next word that I would like for you to hold on to is the word complexity. More and more scientists are recognizing biological systems made up of many parts that will not work unless all of the components are in place at the same time. Do we have anything yet? Can we run that cell thing? Unlocking the mystery, do you have that one?
In the years since Kenyon's rejection of chemical evolution, science has revealed the details of an entire system of information processing that bears the hallmarks of intelligent design. With computer animation, we can enter the cell to view this remarkable system at work. After entering the heart of the cell, we see the tightly wound strands of DNA, storehouses for the instructions necessary to build every protein in an organism. In a process known as transcription, a molecular machine first unwinds a section of the DNA helix to expose the genetic instructions needed to assemble a specific protein molecule. Another machine then copies these instructions to form a molecule known as messenger RNA. When transcription is complete, the slender RNA strand carries the genetic information through the nuclear pore complex, the gatekeeper for traffic in and out of the cell nucleus. The messenger RNA strand is directed to a two-part molecular factory called a ribosome. After attaching itself securely, the process of translation begins. Inside the ribosome, a molecular assembly line builds a specifically sequenced chain of amino acids. These amino acids are transported from other parts of the cell and then linked into chains often hundreds of units long. Their sequential arrangement determines the type of protein manufactured. When the chain is finished, it is moved from the ribosome to a barrel-shaped machine that helps fold it into the precise shape critical to its function. After the chain is folded into a protein, it is then released and shepherded by another molecular machine to the exact location where it is needed.
This is absolutely mind-boggling to perceive at this scale of size such a finely tuned apparatus, a device that bears the marks of intelligent design and manufacture. And we have